And good evening, good evening, good evening. And if you're looking at my face on a Monday night after 7, you know you got your game face on. And if you're looking at my man, Matt the Wise One Wise, you got your game face on. Matt, as you probably know, when I always start the show, I got to go to the questions.
Hit them.
So if you're trying to figure out how to get your coasters on your table to match your decor in your house, you're on the wrong podcast. And if you're trying to figure out how to get those pastels on the wallpaper in your kitchen, once again, you're on the wrong podcast. But if you're trying to figure out how to get insight and in-depth information regarding sports in the San Francisco Bay Area, you can just put your game face on. And if you're trying to get insight from a spectator's perspective on sports on a national level, once again, you got your game face on. Welcome. I'm Richard Razor Ewing. He's Matt None the Wiser Wise. And Matt, what do we got?
I got my game face on. Because the NBA playoffs are nuts. Brooklyn.
Oh, dude.
They're gone. Bye, Kevin Durant, KD.
Dang, dude. Dude, you just let off. Dude.
Hey, I got my Brooklyn hat on when I went there and visited when KD was sitting on the bench with Kyrie last year. And I watched him sit on the bench. And this year they just got knocked out of the playoffs. So that's a beautiful thing for me, kind of, because the big three, you're supposed to win it and you didn't get it done. So I'm happy about that. Gigantes, the San Francisco Giants, first place still, but best record in Major League Baseball right now. And they got a guy over there at shortstop. I don't know if you've heard of him, but his name is Brandon Crawford. We call him B. Craw. And he's having an MVP year, if you ask me. I mean, he is doing it all. And so we got all that going on. But before we get started, Richard, it's time to pay some bills.
Oh, yeah, you got to do that.
Got to do it. And we are in the month of June, and the month of June is heating up with tons of exciting sports action. And betonline.ag is where you can find it. From basketball and hockey playoffs to baseball's marquee matchups, including prop bets and futures, BetOnline has all the latest odds, news, and information for all your online sports betting needs. So I encourage you, visit the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So before the next tip-off, the next face-off, or the next pitch, head on over to betonline.ag and start playing today.
All right, there you have it. If you think you got what it takes, you think you got some insight on when the next game's going to face off, you think you can win, go to betonline.ag. Now, me, myself, as I always say, look, I had a wife, okay? She finds out I'm betting, dude, that's it. I'm out the house. I can't.
Well, better yet, Razor, not only are you married and just cannot throw the money away like that.
No.
We both made predictions at the beginning of the playoffs, and if I'm not mistaken, every team I've picked has been bounced. So
was it every team?
I think everyone but one. I think I may have had the Phoenix Suns. I'd have to go back.
I picked the Suns from the beginning because they just had a phenomenal year. They really did. And CP3 was, in my opinion, I think he was orchestrating his craft. I'll say that. But you know, Devin Booker is just obliterating the numbers right now, and they just look more polished than anybody else. Even Utah, I thought, don't get me wrong, I thought Utah had a pretty tough campaign, but I also thought that Phoenix was just right there. They were number 2 in the Western Conference, and they were beating everybody. I mean, it wasn't, and this is the thing. You look at how they got to where they're at right now. It's like they basically every opponent they faced, they basically said to them, we don't care who you have. Okay, look, we don't care who you have. We have a solid team. It's structured. Okay, and hats off to Monty Williams, is doing a phenomenal job as the head coach this year. And I tell you something, I think both of these seasons are seasons of, when you look back and you look now, you say to yourself, man, what a difference a year makes. You know, because Monty Williams had lost his job in New Orleans. Okay. Then you have, what was it? Gabe Kapler, when he first became head coach of the Giants. Dude, people were laughing at that pick. They're going, dude, come on, really? And then they had their press conference, and it appeared that he had even threw Farhan Zaidi underneath the bus during the press conference. And everybody's thinking, okay, you know what? And then you have people from Philly speaking out, saying this guy is a joke. And now look at the Giants.
Well, who's laughing now? Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're only halfway through the season. But getting back to the Phoenix Suns, listen, the Phoenix Suns are doing something that should be recognized, because they are beating the top teams to get to the championship.
That's right.
They're beating them handily in some situations.
Yeah.
You have the Phoenix Suns against the LA Lakers. That was the first round series, a 4-2 series win. You have the Phoenix Suns against the Denver Nuggets, the number 3 seed Denver Nuggets.
Wait a minute. Denver Nuggets with the 2021 MVP in Joker, Nikola Jokic.
Exactly. What happened there? Sweet. Get your brooms out. Now you have the Phoenix Suns going against the LA Clippers. Those are the 3 premier teams in the Western Division, aside from Utah, right? So, and that's who Phoenix is rolling through. And they're up 1-0 against the LA Clippers, and I expect them to beat the Clippers in 6.
Wow. Okay. There you have it, folks. If you're watching our show, you just heard it. You heard it.
Head on over to betonline.ag and put that money where the mouth is.
That money down if you think you can do it. So NoneTheWiser says Phoenix got it in 6.
No Kawhi Leonard. It's tough. It's going to be tough for the Clippers. No Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, but this is the thing. There's no CP3 tonight either.
They play tomorrow.
They play tomorrow. Okay. But CP3's out.
Wednesday. It might be Wednesday. I've checked the
Wednesday.
schedule.
Okay. CP3's out. He's not playing either.
The COVID thing, but he'll be back. And see, here's the thing between the Clippers and the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns have a dominant scorer in Devin Booker, who can put the team on his shoulders and carry them and get buckets when buckets are needed.
Right.
For the LA Clippers, who do you got? And no disrespect, but Paul George has not shown up to be a primetime playoff clutch player.
You mean I know what you're talking about. You're talking about when the money's on. I know that's what you're
talking about. Playoff time.
Playoff time is when the money's on.
I haven't seen a dominant performance from Paul George. I haven't seen.
I don't know. The game he had a couple of nights ago, he kind of put the team on his back a bit there. That was what did he score? You think he had I think it was 34 or something like that. But I mean that was a solid game on his end. But what do we know about Paul George? We know that Paul George can sometimes not be consistent, and that's one of the things that you're pointing out right now. And you're absolutely correct. You're in the middle of a series right now, so being consistent is the key to be able to advancing. I want to go over to the East. Okay. And I got to go to the East because
Milwaukee.
God, I cannot believe Philadelphia could not. And it wasn't just Philadelphia, but and you brought this up in the beginning, Brooklyn Nets with KD and company. And, I get it that the big 3 are up in age. They've been in the league a little while. And some people are going to get hurt. But it's like, hey, you put this thing together. You left Golden State to go to Brooklyn so that you could prove that you could put a team on your back, and bring a title there.
But how could they? Honestly, how could they? I heard the stat. I don't know if it was on local radio in our area or wherever I heard the stat, but they only played as a trio, as Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. They have only played 14 games together this whole season. That's not going to cut it. And honestly, that was my concern for them as a team moving into the playoffs. And I think I mentioned that they haven't played many teams together. And, playoffs, you want to be kind of hitting your stride during playoff time. They weren't. They haven't been. The reason why they were so dominant and they made such a deep run is one reason and one reason only. And his name is Kevin Durant. That's it. He carried that team as far as he could carry them. And he was a toenail away from sending him to the finals with a 3-point shot. But instead, his foot was on the line and they went to overtime. So what can you say? What on the other end, on the other side of it with Philly, Atlanta, my goodness, Doc Rivers, poor guy is just it don't matter. The guy is just catching all kinds of heat. From you leave LA, you go over to Philly, you got a good situation over there. Things look like they're rolling good. They're going in your favor. You got two dominant players. And then,
well, wait a minute. Let's back that up a little. Back up the truck a little bit.
Well,
the Philly
before the playoffs, you did have two dominant players.
Okay, but let's keep it real. I already texted you this, and I told you. I'll say it again, dude. Ben Simmons is going to be traded faster than the ink can dry on the paper, dude. I'm sorry. This guy.
I don't disagree. But before these playoffs started, he was one of the top tier players because he could play defense. But he got absolutely exposed in this playoffs. He got exposed, and it was not pretty. And it was really, really uncomfortable to watch, to be quite honest with you.
I could not believe. I'm just trying to understand how it is that you are at a capacity that you're at. You're inside of a top tier team. You've been in the playoffs before several times. You would think in the offseason, this is a time for you to be working on your inconsistency so that you can be more consistent for the team. But I just kind of feel like he has not put in the work, like he should. This is the reason why
I wouldn't say that.
No, come on, God, come on. Did you see his numbers for scoring? Oh my God, they were so ridiculously embarrassing. He went. Matter of fact, I wish I had kept the list. It was a list where out of 6 times he went 0 for 0. I'm just like, dude, come on. You can't tell me that you didn't put in the work, because okay, maybe you did the defense. That's good, but you got to contribute on the scoring end too. What do they always say? Both ends of the floor. You got to play both ends of the floor. And I'm sorry. Look, Ben Simmons, in my opinion, right now, if he wants to revamp his career in the offseason, he better get somebody to help him learn how to shoot the basketball. Okay, because right now, he's trade bait. He is. I'm sorry. Man, Philly's not trying to hang on to him. Philly's saying right now, you know what? Matter of fact, they questioned Doc Rivers about that after the game, and Doc Rivers was like, well, I really don't know about that. In other words, he couldn't even give a definitive answer, because really at the end of the day, I'm sure the higher-ups are looking at Ben Simmons going, dude, you know what? You getting paid a lot of money to do this. So you need to break.
Steal a guy like that for like a second-round pick, that may be an option. If we're talking about trade bait, and we're talking about someone being traded, like the Warriors are sitting in a pretty interesting position right now with two first-round picks.
Okay, well, only if the pick lands right.
Well, if the pick lands right, it can't land in the top 3, I think it is.
Yeah, something like that. It's some type of stipulation of where it has to land. But I was listening to chatter today from Joey Lightyear, is what we like to call him here in the Bay, Joe Lacob. And, because one of the biggest things has been talked with the Golden State Warriors is that, well, they need to go out and sign a veteran with a big contract. And Joe Lacob came out, and I think it was on Tim Kawakami's podcast, and just vehemently stated, okay, look, we don't have the capital to do something like that, because they have so much money tied up in the players they have right now.
Fair point.
Yeah.
First of all, Joe Lacob, if you want to go on a podcast, might I recommend that if you're listening, you join us here on GameFace podcast. Not saying the Kawakami podcast is not fire. It is.
Yeah.
But we would love to have you. Number 2, you're absolutely right. The Warriors are they are over leveraged with what they do have. But you never know what could happen. But with that being said, 2 first-round picks, the Warriors are in a pretty good position to get some more depth on their bench, which will be exciting to see what they can do with that. And this playoffs is exciting. There's not like some big, huge flashy teams. I mean, I guess you got the Clippers or an LA team, but I mean, you got some small market teams, Atlanta, Milwaukee, Phoenix, and you got the Clippers. So I'm excited. Who do you got? Where are you going?
Well,
Atlanta, Milwaukee series. Who do you got?
In the Milwaukee series, wow, that's tough. You know what? I'm gonna throw my chips out there. I'm gonna say the Bucks.
Bucks. It's a good call.
Yeah,
Atlanta's going to struggle with the height.
It's just what it is, and when I do that hesitantly because of Trae Young. You know, Young is he's just becoming the guy. Okay, slowly but surely. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised next 2 seasons if he leads that team. If they give a couple more pieces for him, I wouldn't be surprised if he leads that team to the Eastern Conference Finals and wins it. I wouldn't be surprised. You know, he's just putting up remarkable numbers, and he's proved it night in and night out. And, you know, when you go through that many games, that many portals, and you come out, you know, with a victory every time, it says something about the quality of play that he's putting out there on the court.
Sounds like you want to change your pick. That's what it sounds like to me, Razor.
No, I'm not going to change my pick because this is the thing. I got a feeling that this is Antetokounmpo's year. I really do. I feel like Giannis is just, that boy's just tearing it up, man. He's the Greek freak, man. He's just coming with the I don't care attitude. You know what I mean? And I mean, hey, you took on Kevin Durant in the Big Three and BKN and didn't look back. You do that says something. That means you've been here before. In other words, you look at Giannis. Giannis knows what this is. He lost before.
Yeah, he's been there. He's been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he knows, and he knows these are a long series. And there was that game where Kevin Durant was just thrashing him,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, I don't know. We don't have no answer. I don't know. We don't have no answers. And that's him basically saying, yeah, we may not have an answer tonight, but we're gonna figure it out. And they figured it out. I mean, they didn't figure out stopping Kevin Durant, but they figured out how to beat him. Yeah,
and you know what's interesting too is that he even, you know, Kevin Durant came out, and this is before, you know, they had lost to the Bucks, but he came out and said that he did not want to be compared to Giannis. Katie said that. And I was just like, wow, that's kind of.
They're two different players, in my opinion.
Yeah, they are two different players, but I'm not so sure that I would say that during the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what I would say is, excuse me, Mr. Giannis, but you are a great player, but you're not in the rarefied air of Kevin Durant.
No, he's not. My opinion. And this is the thing. He's trying to get there. That's why he was able to beat him this time.
See, right. He's taking strides. He's making steps to get there. So we'll see what happens. That's a decent call. I would go Milwaukee as well.
So. Right. So we want to move over to the Niners because we don't have a lot of time. So we're looking at injuries. And this one, it kind of bothers me because this guy showed some promise in the last 2 seasons. Running back Jeff Wilson got a knee injury.
Yeah.
Got a knee injury. And this guy, he showed some promise. He did. I was kind of like beside myself on that. Offensive tackle Justin School, the knee. Once again, knee injuries are becoming an issue, man.
It makes you wonder what's going on.
Yeah. Defensive back Tavares Moore, Achilles. Now this is the problem because this dude's going to be out for a while. You tear the Achilles, you ain't coming back until probably next season. Okay. Okay. This one is just dumb. It is. Defensive end Jordan Willis suspension, and he's suspended because 6 games because he violated the NFL's policy against performance-enhancing substances. So this is just dumb, and I don't know. Maybe it isn't because this is the thing. You know, the violating the NFL's policy on banned substances, which we're dealing with this in the MLB right now as well, is kind of a gray area, and it's gray because there's certain substances they just flat out say you cannot use, and then there's certain substances they don't say, but like if you get caught, they'll say, oh well, yeah, you can't use that, and it's like, well, wait a minute, that's not part of the list, you know. So I don't know if this is the case with Jordan Willis, but I mean, it's
the list is ever changing, ever
yes,
changing. I mean, I just heard about an Olympian who was disqualified because they found high levels of whatever in her system. And she says, "Hey man, I ate some beef tacos or
yeah,
whatever it
right,
was,
right.
right?"
Which they're right,
Canelo's used that one.
right.
That's a famous one. And that's the problem. And you mentioned it. I mean, it's ever so changing, right? Like something new comes out and it gets banned, and then that trickle effect has an effect on something that wasn't banned 5 years ago. At some point, these athletes are going to have to start eating beans and rice, and that's it, because they know that will be safe. Because it's
Okay.
getting ridiculous.
Okay, well, this one I'm not even going to mention because we already know this guy's already in training camp, and that was Nick Bosa. He had the knee injury. Okay. But this is the other thing. I wanted to point out the fact that today, the NCAA, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that Monday that the NCAA cannot stop colleges and universities from giving education-related benefits to lure student athletes. They say it undercuts the NCAA's efforts to prevent outright payment to student athletes, a policy now under attack in state houses around the country. This burns me up as much as the MLB getting mad at guys using steroids. And the reason why it does is because, dude, come on. How many trillions of dollars has the NCAA made off of student athletes up until now? In other words, no one can count how much they made because guess what? No one knows because only the NCAA knows. Okay.
Big business.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. I mean, when Peyton Manning was playing for Tennessee, how much money you think Tennessee actually made every time he got on the field? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Out that stadium to starters.
Yeah. When I'll tell you something, you want to talk about serious situations? Let's go to Tobacco Road. Let's talk Duke versus North Carolina basketball. Okay. Zion Williamson is the star. Okay. Zion Williamson is paid, okay, a gratuity from Nike. And now all of a sudden they tell Zion, oh, well, you know what? You can't play. It's like, did you see how many fans were in the stands during that game? It was, and everybody paid at least $300 to $400 to get in there. Okay.
Well, and here's the thing. A lot of athletes now are looking at other avenues other than these colleges and universities that are just completely stiffing the athlete in their opinions. So they're finding other avenues to get to their final destination, which is the pros. And look at LaMelo Ball. He went over to Australia to play basketball for a year. So he didn't have to go to college just so he could be eligible for the draft. And guys are doing that because, and there's going to be more and more. And that's really the only thing that's going to stop these universities from not compensating some of these athletes, these student athletes.
Yeah.
I know some of them are getting scholarships, but there's a good majority of them that aren't. So I'm
but when you levy the scholarships that they're receiving versus how much money the university's receiving, I mean, come on, it isn't even close. I mean, you're talking, okay, you know what? Fine.
No, it is. It's peanuts.
Yeah, come on, fine. You want me to put it out there? Alabama Crimson Tide. Come on. That university is making billions every time the Alabama Crimson Tide football team goes on the field. Okay?
On the field, anytime they put on a piece of uniform, whether it's shorts or a t-shirt, to go out and throw the ball.
That's right.
They're the main thing.
And what do we know? We know the vendors, they're gonna come calling. So I don't even want to hear. I mean, this makes me so upset. I'm just like, guys, come on, really? It's like, how many student athletes did you guys churn out that didn't make it? And you didn't pay them anything. And now you're gonna go in court and fight it? Really? It's like, man, come on, give me a break. The whole system needs to be capped. And I'll tell you something else. It's not gonna stop because now you know what you got? You got to fight in the U.S. Supreme Court over paid athletes. Mm-hmm. In other words, where the university is going to have to start paying these guys because you know what? Hey, These guys,
California's already starting to do it.
yeah, exactly. And I'll tell you something. You know who I applaud? I applaud institutions like the G League.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, because they came up, they was like, look, you know what? We'll pay you $100K. You come play for us. And then when you're done, if you're good enough, you got to take it into the NBA. Bravo.
Right.
Bravo. Because now what are you seeing? You seeing an institution that sees the value of what these players can bring monetary wise. For the NCAA to sit back and think that, oh, well, you know what? We don't have to play their student athletes. Like, no, you were making millions of dollars off these student athletes. You exploited them for decades. It goes all the way back to the 70s. Okay? Student athletes have always made money for universities.
And they're trying to do everything they can to hold on to their cash cow for as long as they can hold on to it. So, money talks.
Yeah. So we got a few minutes here.
Brandon Crawford. Can I just fanboy out? Can I just crush out on Brandon Crawford? I think he's 6th in the league in home runs with 16 playing unbelievable baseball, MVP caliber baseball. His batting average is up there. And he's just doing everything right. And it has been fun the last few nights watching him play and hit the ball at the yard. So Yastrzemski's starting to swing the bat really, really well. Posey's still swinging the bat well. Belt's starting to swing the bat well. Wilmer Flores is starting to swing the bat well. And your pitchers are pitching dynamite still. So you cannot, I'm ecstatic. We got 2 against the Angels here, which will be a good little test. Angels aren't no slouch. And then you have 3 or 4 against the Athletics. And then right after the Athletics, you have the Dodgers. So the end of June, I'll be interested to see where the Giants stand at the end of June in the standings.
Well, it's interesting because the Giants, they just brought up Alex Dickerson. Okay. And they also sent, I don't want to say this loosely because you may have said Matt Whistler.
Whistler.
Yeah, he's been designated for assignment. But they also brought up Ruff.
Darren Ruff, yeah. So some guys are coming back. These guys have been injured. These guys have been out. Unfortunately, with Ruff coming back, it does send Wade Jr. down, who's I feel like's had a really good season this year. So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I got a feeling the A's have been having it kind of rough lately. They lost a couple of games, but I still think they're still on the cusp of doing something great. I also wanted to bring up. I'm trying to remember. See, look, you got me where I missed my what I was going to say now. Okay. Oh, that's what I was going to say. You guys watching? Keeping your eyes on balls on this. Send us your contact information. We're going to send you a GameFace t-shirt. You see that? And you see that face? That's a face. That's right. That's right. Steph Curry. Letting you know.
I did you dirty face right there.
Yeah, but we got our GameFace on. Okay? And this is the back.
Hey, all you got to do to cop one of those dope shirts is smash the subscribe button. Or if you've already hit the subscribe button, throw your email in the comment section. We'll hit you a message. We'll get your mailing info, and we'll fire you out one of these bad boys. That's as easy as it is. A subscribe and an email address. That's it. And one of those shirts can be yours.
Like I always say, you don't have to dig ditches, carry pipes, or put in a 9-hour day to get that shirt. All you gotta do is do like Matt. Do like NoneTheWiser just told you, and then you'll have the shirt, and you'll be walking around looking cool, and everybody be looking at you going, GameFace, what is that? And then you can tell them what it is. So, but anyway, guys, it's been fun, but we got to run. He's Matt NoneTheWiser Wise. I'm Richard the Razor Ewing. This is GameFace. You can come in, put your feet up, you can even have a drink. But if you do, you better have your GameFace on